I'm so excited to have you here. So if you don't know, I'm Candus Kampfer, which you probably do if you're following me and you happen to be seeing this. But I just wanted to say hello again. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here for a while, woo woo, guess what? We just hit 15,000 subscribers, over 15,000 on YouTube, which is super exciting. So if you follow me there for my tips and tricks and my inspiration, I love it. Thank you for being there and supporting me and being part of this amazing community. So what do we do at every workshop? Do you know? You can put it in the chat. Thought of the day. So we can't start a workshop without the thought of the day or even a live Q&A. So we're going to pull from the Life Loves You deck. It sounded like there was a card in there, but it's just the like little welcome card when you buy the deck. So we are going to see what we're meant to hear today. How's your week going so far? I'm curious. Let me know. All right, so what are we meant to hear today? I live in a friendly universe. That's our card for today. See the little feet and the heart? It says, let life befriend you today, every hour on the hour throughout the day. Remind yourself, I live in a friendly universe. Perfect. So in other words, it's common to kind of get negative, especially like I was just looking and in a few days it's going to be the Lunar New Year. And I made a little post, you'll see it soon. I was thinking about it last night about how like the first few weeks, sometimes they can be overwhelming. And sometimes the first few weeks can be really exciting because some of us are like, yes, we started off the new year, right? And then some of us are like, oh my gosh, it's already like, before you know it's going to be February and this isn't quite where I wanted it to be. And I want you to be gentle and loving with yourself, knowing that this is exactly where you want to be at. Be kind to yourself, love yourself, and remember that at any time, even if it's not a new year is always a good time to start fresh, but no matter when it's at, you can start, you can choose to create your life the way you want, okay? I've been reading through a lot of your messages about QuickBooks and where you're at and your frustrations. We're going to get through some of those questions today. So what I wanted to do is you may or may not know what this confidence with QuickBooks thing is. So I wanted to tell you what it is and you can learn more about it. So Confidence QuickBooks is actually my signature program. It is my course that I created for you to learn QuickBooks from A to Z. So it goes from beginning phases all the way through, and I thought I would actually show you inside and show you around. Does that sound fun? Let me know. I'm going to share my screen. Let me make sure I'm where I want to be, because sometimes when I share my screen, I'm in some other place. So perfect. Okay, so you guys should be able to see my QuickBooks right now. Let me know in the chat. Yes, please. Okay. So, but let's go into Confidence with QuickBooks actually, and I'm going to show you around. So this is like a special little sneak peek of what is Confidence QuickBooks. Whenever you join Confidence QuickBooks, you always get a welcome video from me. And then we're going to start talking about module 1. So a lot of people, they want to go into QuickBooks and they say, hey, Candus, just show me how to enter a bill. Just show me how to pull a report. Just show me how to create an invoice. And if you've ever been to my Getting Started QuickBooks workshop, I always start with the end in mind. I think of QuickBooks as a house. And if you're don't have a solid foundation on exactly what you want to see in the end, you don't always get what you want, which may be the case of what you've experienced, which is you just like went in and started creating invoices or went in and started entering bills. You didn't really know why you were doing it. You were just doing it because you either watched a video about it or you just saw that and you thought that was where you needed to start. And so everybody starts with the first module. So the way the course works is it's built out over 5 modules. You get 1 module a week. And the reason I do that is I just don't want people to get like, they're in such a hurry that all they want to do is get to reports. But if they didn't build all the steps before that, then you get to the part where maybe you're at right now and you have reports and they don't make sense. So if you trust my madness, I've been teaching QuickBooks for 13 years. There is a process to it. If you trust me, I promise you can learn it. So in module 1, we're going to talk about how to set it up, how to navigate QuickBooks, how to add your bank accounts, your credit cards, how to set it up, and how to do backups properly if you're on the desktop version. If you're on the online, so Confidence with QuickBooks is actually 2 separate courses. We have the desktop version for desktop users and the online version for online users. And so they're a little different, like each one. So like online has how to use the app, how to navigate some of the new things as QuickBooks is training them. So the beginning is foundational. And I've had people who've used QuickBooks for years who go through the foundation and they're like, oh, I realize why I have mistakes. They go through the first module and they start cleaning things up. And really the first module is just a baseline. It gets everybody on the same page, because what I learned over time is when I used to go in and work with private clients locally, I'd go in and I'd just start like cleaning up a specific thing. They'd want to know how to fix their credit card. And I'd go in and I'd fix the credit card. And then I'd realize by watching them that they actually didn't know what a vendor is. They didn't know how to use their customers. They didn't know what the features were. And I assumed, because I just figured if they've been using QuickBooks for years, they'd know that. I decided that's why we start with the foundation, because a lot of you may or may not have started at a solid foundation. And what happens when you don't start a solid foundation is you get a rocky finish. It's kind of like trying to build a house without the blueprints. You're like, oh, I just started hammering in right here. And it doesn't make sense. Am I being clear? All right, so after we get a solid foundation, we start talking about vendors. Vendors is this little place right up here in the desktop version. I'll show you the online version in just a second. Let me stop sharing for a quick second to make sure. Okay, great. I had already logged into the sample file. I just wanted to make sure I had. In the online version, you are going to have vendors here. So vendors are the people and places you spend money, okay? Subcontractors, office supplies, job supplies, anybody that you spend other than a W-2, or if you're giving a customer a refund, they are a customer. And so that's what we talk about in module 2. And people normally think that a vendor, and I used to explain it more this way, is just if you need inner bills. But really that's just accounts payable. Vendors are so much more than that. It's how do you see where you're spending your money? It's how do you prepare for your 1099s properly? How do you figure out where you're going and all your expenses and finding the details? So this is where you can come in. If you come to my reports training that I've done before, you'll learn that you can come in and you can find out like what transactions have happened or where have you spent your money and how to clean it up. So commonly people will say, I entered my bill and then I wrote a check, Candus, and I know I don't owe that, but it shows I do. The reason that happens is because you entered a bill and then went down to a check. You did not go to pay bills. And there's a specific order to exactly how long you'll do them. Okay. And then somebody asked, how many hours is the course? For the desktop and the online in total, both. So each one is different course. Often I don't necessarily, I have people who want both courses, but I typically say, you're welcome to do that. But I typically have you go through one course and then add on, because typically you don't need to learn both unless you're doing like books for somebody else. If that's the case, you can email support and they can give you some of the details about how to do both. This is what I'm going to tell you. There are features inside the course. So the course is for people who've been using QuickBooks for a very long time, but don't have things put in the right places, or somebody who's brand new. And the reason it's for both is because the first time you go through the course, it's kind of like a movie, I've been told from our alumni. You get it, but then you go back through and you get it at such a deeper level because you can't understand everything the first time. And even though the course is released, the program's released over 5 weeks, you go back through it and it's like a video library that you can go back at any time and rewatch. So the first time through, you're going to learn, I'm going to tell you, you may or may not need these different features, but I'm going to explain to you how to use them. And then you can always come back later if you want to add those features. In other words, you may not want to enter bills right now, but in a few years, or if you hire a bookkeeper, you may want to use enter bills. If you're trying to catch up on old data entry, enter bills and pay it may not be the most efficient way to do it right now. So when you say, how long is it going to take? It's not, I want you to think of this as not like, you're going to just like buy the course, you're going to download it, you're going to know it instantly. It's like a living thing for you to go back through. I designed it for you as a library. Okay. So, I mean, I can tell you the number of hours that the course is, but I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus it that you're going to go through, learn how to use it, and then re-go through specific videos, because I broke out videos in a specific order so you can go back and watch them when you need to relearn something, okay? So once you've set up and you understand how to use your vendors, we're gonna then go in and you're gonna start learning how to properly track your income. And I'm gonna teach you what's the best way for you to track your income. Do you need an invoice, a sales receipt, or do you want to go directly in and record it in your income? And I explain why. So what you're going to learn is literally how to set up from scratch your QuickBooks file. I've had people who've gone through courses before and they say, what didn't work for me with the course is that it gave me all the like sample files. And they say what the difference is with your course is you actually teach how to build it from scratch. So that's why if you're brand new, it's going to go step by step. But if you've been using a while, you're going to find out where your mistakes that you made and how to clean them up. So you're going to go through, you're going to enter how to track your income, but then how to properly track your payments, how to send your invoices or sales receipts, email them, how to do statements. And you're going to find out why you're doing what you're doing. I get people all the time that go through Comps QuickBooks and they say, the thing I appreciate the most is you told me why I was doing it, right? It's like the kid who's like, okay, but why? Why am I doing it? I like to teach that way because I also think that way. So now you know how to properly track your expenses, how to track your income. Then we're going to go in and we're going to start learning how to go over here to this banking center. In the banking center, you're going to learn how to reconcile your credit cards, your bank accounts, how to fix discrepancies that you've had, how to do merchant fees, how to do rentals. If you have rental properties, you want to track classes, how to write checks. It's all about how to enter in and verify you're doing it correctly. So with my, you may have heard me tell my story about my husband's hardwood flooring company, but when we took it over from my father-in-law, he had never reconciled anything. He just like threw it all in a shoebox, tried to like track it, and he paid lots of money in taxes every year because he wasn't tracking it. And so if you've been entering your transactions, you have been using QuickBooks, but you haven't been tracking it to make sure you entered it in properly, you haven't been doing this like very vital step, which is reconcile. Then when you get to the next module, which we teach reports and how to properly read them, you don't know if you've entered it right. I get people over and over that say, I went to my tax professional, but they never told me I needed to reconcile, and I don't know what that means. So if you're like, what is a reconciliation? Think of it as this is your bank statement from your bank, and you're going to compare it to what you entered QuickBooks. It does not matter if you've been manually outside of QuickBooks, like reconciling your bank account. It's you want to take what did the bank say versus what does QuickBooks say, and are they the same? And then when you start seeing extra transactions that are in there that are really old or ones you just entered and you accidentally entered it in the wrong bank account, but you didn't know it, you can now start verifying what you entered. And this is like the most important step, but we first have to start entering the transactions and then we verify them. And after you verify them, then you're going to learn how to properly read your reports so that you can manage your business and see what's going on beyond tax time. And you're also going to understand what you're reading and prepare for taxes. This is the really cool thing. We have an extra bonus. We have all kinds of different bonuses in Commerce QuickBooks, but one of my favorite bonuses that we offer is a workshop that is a tax time prep workshop. And it has a checklist that will take you through what to check before you see your tax professional so you can show up with confidence. So you've learned how to enter everything and now you're verifying it and you can fix your mistakes. It also teaches you how to fix your mistakes along the way. It's one of my favorite parts of Confidence QuickBooks. So to join Confidence QuickBooks, you can go to confidencequickbooks.com to join. We have two options right now. You can do self-study, which is the course, and you go through it at your own pace. It is released over weeks, but you can go back in and watch it. So if right now is not a good time, you can watch it in the future. Go back and watch it. You have lifetime access. But right now, we also are offering the Confidence QuickBooks Mastermind, which is something I only offer a couple times a year. And it comes with group coaching. So not only do you go through the course, but then you get a weekly call as you go through the course. And then we do quarterly check-ins throughout the whole 2020 year. So you get a check-in in March, June, I'm trying to think of all the months, September and December or so. So we do like 4 quarterly check-ins to make sure you are on the right track if you've been trying to figure it out, but you've been lost. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So I see you guys have a few questions. I just want to clearly tell you what Confidence with QuickBooks is. The difference between Confidence Quickbooks Self-Study and the Mastermind, you get the same course. The Mastermind just comes with additional support. Yes, thanks. You're welcome. The other thing that I'm doing right now, which is like a super big bonus, is we are doing not only the regular Confidence QuickBooks, but we're including for anyone who joins Confidence QuickBooks or the Mastermind, you get the Payroll Masterclass. You can learn how to process payroll because that's not normally included. And my year-end forms course, which is your 941s, your 940, W-2, W-3, making sure you're paying your payroll taxes properly, and then 1099, 1096. All right, so pop your questions in. Great, we are starting over in QuickBooks for 2020 and need to get the mistakes out and start fresh. awesome question, Cindy. So I definitely need a firm foundation, said Tammy. You will get it. I know you've already joined Comms QuickBooks. I look forward to seeing you in there, I believe. Let me go through. We have a little, they've been putting together, we've received quite a few different questions through email. And so I want to go through those questions and answer them for you. So what is the difference between Confidence QuickBooks and the Mastermind? I explained that earlier, which is Confidence QuickBooks is the how-to course. Whether you take the self-study or the Mastermind, you get the same course, you get the same training. What we add on top of it is a Q&A, additional Q&A support for those of you that that's the right fit. But that's a limited, it's a very small group. So not all of you is that a right fit for, but you can choose to do that if you want. Is Confidence QuickBooks also available for online users? Yes. So when you go to confidencequickbooks.com to join, you are going to see a choice. You can choose which one you're looking for. I realize I'm typing and you're not actually seeing my screen. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so you go to confidencequickbooks.com. There's a little video from me that will populate. I'm live, so it might slow down just a little bit. You can watch that to learn more. Then you're going to go down. It's going to summarize what I told you about the different areas. One thing that we added recently is property management. And so like if you're managing for someone else, how to handle that in QuickBooks, as well as rental properties, that's something we've had. But you're going to choose which version you want. And when you click here, like get started today, you are going to see, you can choose desktop or online payments or full pay. So that's where you're going to decide which version you get. If you accidentally click the wrong one, we can fix it on the back end. But just take the time to look at them and make sure you get the right one. How long will it take you to start getting results? I would say we've had people who've used QuickBooks for years start fixing mistakes from the foundational module, which is the very beginning. It's the shortest of all modules, but I hear people saying like, I learned like so much just from that module. But you're going to start getting results immediately, especially if you haven't set up your foundation. But then as you go through, you're going to start cleaning things up and start entering things in properly. What if I get through the full 5 weeks, or if I need time to get it all done? Is there any way to do the modules over? You have lifetime access. So we've had people who've had Confidence QuickBooks for years email me after having it for a few years and say, Candus, I really appreciate that you made this so easy for me to re-access. You get your own username and login in our members area. The course is pre-created and you go in and you just watch the trainings and you can check mark. You might have noticed like over here, you can check mark like that you completed it. So it kind of helps you track, but then you can go back over and watch them over and over again. Yeah. So it's not like you only have 5 weeks. I just decided I didn't want people to rush to a specific area without knowing some of the foundational things. And I've had people say, like, I was going through the course, Candus, and I was like, come on, I want to get to the next module. She's like, but then when I did, Joy said this, she's like, but when I got to the end, I realized how you had been building. And when I got to the end, now I know how to go fix things and I got to find things. So there's a reason. There's a method to the system, promise. I'm a hairstylist. Will this help me set things up from the very beginning? Yes. So when you first start QuickBooks, if you've never used it, it's going to ask you to set up your company file, and it's going to ask you to give it like what type of industry you're in, and you're going to set that up. I'm going to teach you how to go back and customize that to you, but I'll walk you through from the very beginning. Like the very first video, one of the very first videos is how to set up your QuickBooks file, how to like install it. Like we start at the install. Now, some of you aren't going to need that. And then how to navigate, but it's just one video on how to make sure you get started, as well as with the online. It's like how to pick which is the right version of QuickBooks for you and how to get started from scratch. So both of them have it for you. Okay. Will I be able to ask questions if I get stuck? So the Confidence QuickBooks self-study comes with a bonus Q&A call, because I want to make sure you get some support. But if you really want like guidance about building and setting up your QuickBooks file, I'd recommend doing the Mastermind, because that's where I get to actually chat and I can see your computer. And this is the thing. Sometimes people, if they're very new to me, they'll see the upgrade for the Mastermind. They're like, I'm not really sure. I will tell you, a lot of the spots for the Mastermind actually are taken from people who've gone through it before and loved it so much they want to come back. So if you're brand new, you don't know me, like you haven't been to any of my trainings, it might seem a little like, whoa, the mastermind, but that is for the people who that's the right fit for. Most people that go through Kampfer's QuickBooks Self-Study, you'll see on the page them sharing their stories about the transformations they get. What happens if you can't make the mastermind calls? They're all recorded, as well as the bonus call. And some of our prior bonus calls, I actually upload them for you. So you can go in here and you can see like bonus Q&A, and you can, a lot of people love this because they can go back through the previous questions where I answered and learn from other people and what their different questions that they were asked. So you're able to attend one of the bonus Q&A calls, but I give you access to them as I do them for the different people, because we have different people at different times that come in. All right. I want to start a bookkeeping business. Is this a good place to start? Shelby said yes. So if you want to learn QuickBooks and you don't feel confident, we've had people who, so we have people who go through Kampfer's QuickBooks. There's a couple different types of people that come in. One, maybe if you own your own business or you help your husband with your business and you want to start tracking your numbers and you have things in the wrong places, or you're just getting started. So if you have your own business, small business owners and business owners, we have people who work for a company and they're in charge of the bookkeeping and they're lost, confused, and frustrated. Whether they were somebody who works for a construction company, work for a church, I'm just thinking of different people in my mind, and don't know how to enter properly. It's for you. And then also we have people who are CPAs, tax professionals, bookkeepers, but they're like missing, maybe they only knew how to do journal entries before they came to QuickBooks, or maybe they have kind of been doing it, but they lack some confidence. I talk about the confidence loop. So the more competent you get, the more confident you get, the more competent you are. It's this process. So we have people who come in and they use it as a video guide to go in and like find the training when they need it, and to grow their business and feel more confident. So kind of have all different kinds of people. Let me know if any of those you can relate to. Will this help me get certified with QuickBooks? I don't focus on certification. I focus on the end user being able to truly use it, because I have people who've gone through Intuit training, a college course, tried to work with people locally, and they say, what's different is I understand you. You make it so simple and clear. That I'm certified as a pro advisor, but I still just didn't feel confident. So the reason I named it Confidence with QuickBooks is because that's exactly what you get. Learn how to use it for you specifically. It's not a canned, this is how you enter it, and this is the only way to enter it. These are the different ways to enter it. Which one's right for you? Okay. Let me see what's the next question. How easy is it to start over? My previous years are such a mess. I feel I need to learn QuickBooks. Will taking Confidence QuickBooks class, I want to have a clean slate. Should I have my CPA fix things before I start the course, or should I start fresh? So this is what I say whenever I get this question all the time, which is I want to learn QuickBooks correctly. It's a new year. I want to really understand it, and I'm ready to start fresh. You have to decide. So this is the thing I would tell you if I was talking to you on the phone. One, how bad is your QuickBooks file? So recently I had somebody who said, I think I want to start fresh. And I'm like, do you want to start fresh because your stuff's a mistake? Or do you want to start fresh because you are way behind? And I get both examples. So for people who are like way behind, one of the tips I'll give you is you need to decide, do you want like 2019 data? Or do you just want to start fresh with 2020? That's a choice. If you say, I want 2019, but I'm like way behind and I don't want to spend so much time entering 2019 that I get behind on 2020. This is what I would tell you. You won't be able to reconcile your books if you start entering 2020 without 2019, but this is my workaround for you. I would file an extension because you may or may not get it done in time. I'm just being honest with you. Plus it gives you a little less stress, but start entering in your 2019 transactions. Find the simplest, easiest way, which I teach you. Do you need sales receipts? Do you need the detail? Can you just do it in the banking? Then also enter in your 2020 as you go. That way, let's say it takes you till April to get all your 2019 in. I'm just being realistic because you still have your business, your life, and other things to do. Then what you can do is if you're also adding 2020, you're not waiting till April and you're already 4 months plus behind, depending on how long it takes you to do 2019. you're keeping up. You will not be able to reconcile until you get all of 2019 done, and then you reconcile 2020, but you can keep up on the data entry so you don't get so overwhelmed. That's what I would recommend. Now, some people have their files are really messed up. So some of the things I ask when people ask me that question is your bank account accurate? Have you reconciled it, or is your bank account way off? One of the things you can do is you can actually create a new bank account. So instead of always like just scrapping your whole file, if everything is accurate but your bank account seems to be off, there's probably more problems with it. But what you can do is you can create a new bank account and start fresh with a new bank account if overall you like your file and you don't want to just like totally start from scratch. Create a new bank account. That's another option for you. And then start reconciling that bank account moving forward, and then clean up the old bank account as you have time. Okay. So it's a decision. It's a decision if you want the old data or just the new year, and then you can decide from there. I do teach you inside Commons QuickBooks how to import lists. So if you want to start a brand new file, but you want like vendor list in there, a chart of accounts in there, and a customer list, but no transactions, there's a couple different ways you can do that, but you can import them and you can clean them up before you import them. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. Let me see real quick. Okay, I was just looking to see if you guys left any more comments. Are you learning something? I hope so. That is my goal for you. Not just get your questions answered, but learn something along the way. Okay. I see some more popping in. I will get to those. Did that answer a question about how to start over for you guys? Let me know. How to decide which to learn, desktop or online? I want to start a bookkeeping business with QuickBooks. So should I use one or the over the other? How different is it online versus desktop? Well, this is desktop, this is online. You can typically get a lot of the same features. The benefit to online is it's cloud-based. So if you're going to be doing bookkeeping for other people and they want to be able to log in and look at things, a lot of times online's great for that. Desktop, you're actually installing it. Now, can you use QBox? Yes, we love QBox. Usually one person's only in there at a time. And you have to install the same version on both computers. But if you prefer desktop, great. The one great thing about desktop is you can start a new company. So you can go in and you can start a new company. You can start it over and over and over again for all your different clients. So that's up to you. It depends on if you're paying for their QuickBooks, like it's one of the things that you offer them is their file, or is it stored on your computer? Are they going to need to look at it or not? The online is cloud-based, so you can look at it from an iPad, your phone, any computer, Mac or Windows. So that's kind of up to you. Which one do you prefer? Okay. How long is the training each week? It's up to you. So some of the modules are shorter and some are longer. I wouldn't focus on so long how long is the training. Think of it as a resource to go back through. You know, it's like a good dessert. You don't want to eat it all in one bite. You got to like kind of eat a bite and then you chat and you have your little drink or whatever. Like it's not so much, don't focus on how long is it going to take. Okay. I don't want that to be the excuse of why you choose not to join Commons QuickBooks because you think it's going to take too much time. Use it as a resource to educate yourself. I'll come back to that question in just a second. It's kind of a long question, so I'll get back to it. Somebody asked, do you do this for nonprofits? I don't have a specific version of QuickBooks for nonprofits. I don't specialize in nonprofit. I've had churches, a few churches, the bookkeepers go through Commons QuickBooks and absolutely love it. You can find out more about it on commonsquickbooks.com. But I don't specialize in nonprofit bookkeeping. But the overall look of it is the same. You just get some specialized reports, and instead of saying customer, if you use the nonprofit, it will say donors. But I don't necessarily specialize in nonprofit. Okay. Sorry, just a second. I have investment properties. I think I need to drink some water. One second. I've been talking lately, so my voice is like, you need some water, girl. Okay. I have investment properties that I have professionally managed. I want to know if you would share your templates if I sign up. So the great thing about what I teach is every business is different, even investment properties. So some people are realtors and do investments. Some people buy, some people flip. Some people hold, right? Buy and hold, some make them their rentals. So what I teach you in Kampfer QuickBooks is I teach you how to design around your business. I give examples of rental properties, and I also give examples of like investments and how to add it as an asset. And then I also do property management examples as well. I would say if you want like a lot specific to your business, I wouldn't focus so much on a template because a template doesn't teach you why you're doing what you're doing. What I do is I teach you how to do it, and then you create it in your own business. You can also choose to do the mastermind if you want specific support about your specific business. That's the benefit of that. If you're just starting, should you do online or desktop? It's kind of like, do you pick an iPhone or do you pick an Android or a Samsung? It really depends on the features that you want. So if you want to be able to access your file from your phone, you want to snapshot receipts, then you're definitely an online user. That's your preference based off what you like. If you're like, I don't really care if it's synced to my bank account, I want it on my computer, I don't need to look at my QuickBooks when I'm not, like, I don't want to be getting on it when I'm not at work, desktop would be a better feature. So it's more of a, I feel desktop gives you more functionality. Desktop gives you all the features except for payroll included. Online, you pay per what features you want. So if you want to be able to enter bills, you have to upgrade. If you want to be able to pay process, like all these different things, you choose according to your feature. Desktop, you usually buy it, you install it, you own it, you upgrade every 3 years. Online, you pay every month depending on which features you want. Wendy said yes, but I'm not sure what that was for. So I think I've answered most of those questions. I'll come back to that in a little bit. It says, I'm a CPA. All right, so they're saying, can I know as to whether I can buy your course or just refer Google and YouTube of yours for reference? So this is the difference. So if you don't know, I have a my YouTube channel, and I do tips and tricks there. And what it is it's things that I get often asked, like how to enter a credit card or this or that. And it's a specific tip. It's a 3-minute tip on a video. The thing is that it doesn't give you everything from A to Z. So if you're looking at how can I set up QuickBooks from like, I want the whole thing. I don't want to have to try to find a video and then Candus doesn't have a video on that. It's a complete system. So the difference between my tips is they're like a quick snapshot, and Kampfer QuickBooks is the whole picture, right? So it's not just a page out of the book, it's the whole book. Does that make sense, the difference? Let me know in the chat if it makes sense. What is the difference? It's a good question. Let me make sure. Okay, so Cindy from Ohio, I love your channel. Thank you so much. Do you teach QuickBooks online? Yes. So a lot of my QuickBooks tips and tricks are from desktop. It's where I started. Truthfully, it will be probably where I love the most for a long time, just because I like the functionality. So this is the thing. Every now and then I'll work with a private client, and I had an online client and I was trying to fix their payroll. And I had to call Intuit and say, can you please release this functionality because I want to fix something? And they're like, okay, sorry, let's go. And they had to go in the back end and then give me permission to be able to fix it. Because they limit kind of what you can do to keep you from making mistakes. Where on the desktop, what I love about it is I love to be able to go in and like fix things and clean them up. So there's a part of me that just will always love desktop. But as far as do I teach online? Yes, it has its own course. A lot of times people wonder if I teach online because they see me talk about desktop so often, especially on my YouTube channel. But we do have an online training as well. Can you learn on the QB page? I don't know what that means. Is there a way to enter one journal entry with 2 accounts payable / accounts receivable? Michael, I never recommend doing a journal entry for accounts payable or accounts receivable. I just got done cleaning up for a private client books back from like 20, was it like 12 or something, and 11, where a tax their bookkeeper that they used to have had gone in and done a bunch of journal entries and created credit memos and tried to make it work, but yet it was still showing up over here under like insights. It was still sitting there, even though when you went into the customer center or the vendor center, it looked like everything was gone, but there was like stuff still showing as unpaid. This is my sample file, so I have no idea where to get, but like it showed all of these different transactions as unpaid, but then when you went into the customer center, it showed that they were not there and they couldn't figure out how to clean it up. She had hired multiple CPAs and bookkeepers who had tried to fix it and could never fix it. And I was like, well, that's because all these journal entries that are in here are mistakes. I don't ever recommend doing a journal entry for accounts receivable or accounts payable. There are other better ways to clean it up, like credit memos, right? Or changing the transaction or finding the original transaction. Okay, so I have a payroll question. So specific questions today, I get that you have like questions about how to enter stuff. I prefer if you ask questions specific to like what we covered. How can, do you have questions about Comms QuickBooks? Because if I was going to do just any Q&A, we could do that. But I want to make sure we stick to the topic at hand, because sometimes we'll get questions and they take us like all over. This is a specific question about payroll, how to enter it. So if you're using a third party and you're entering your data, you can ask so what you would do is when you enter in your check into QuickBooks, you're going to make sure that you enter it. You can choose to add your 401k as an account in your chart of accounts and then put the amount towards that. So instead of like payroll expense and then the amount, you'd actually put it over to your 401k if that's how you want to track it. So remember, this one things I teach in Comms QuickBooks, when you're designing your chart of account, that's what's going to pull up on your reports. And when you're writing your checks, entering your bills, creating your invoices even, everything is linked back to your chart of accounts. So if you're wanting to see that on your report, Michael, that's how you want to make sure you're setting it up. Okay. Do you have, let's see, my team will let me know. Did I miss anything else? Confidence QuickBooks is open until Thursday. So you have a couple days to join and get in. We only open enrollment a couple times a year. So I've been getting asked, like, when are you going to open again? We haven't decided. I know for sure we'll be opening in September, but I don't know. I may open again in March. The thing about that is if you wait to join till March, most likely if you're going to want help to get ready for this tax return season, it's a little late. So right now is the best time if you have those specific questions and you want to get it cleaned up. Do we have any other questions before I go? Oh, I totally forgot one of the important things I want to do today. So for those of you who attended my workshop, you know that I had a giveaway that I was doing today. So I'll let you guys type in any other questions you have specific to that, but we have a giveaway. So I added all the names in here for anybody who joined Confidence with QuickBooks. One of the bonuses, if you joined while you're on a workshop, was an entry into a private session with me, which I don't do very often anymore because I put more of my time into the community, the Commerce QuickBooks community, my mastermind, my QuickBooks Simplify. So I don't do a lot of private sessions, but I am giving one away. So drum roll, please. I almost forgot. Let's see. I wish I could like pick them randomly, but I actually put them all in here. So let's see. They're like all stuck together because there's quite a few. Okay. The winner is Susan P. You won the private session. Woo woo. Okay. But I was like, but what about all the extra people? So there were some of you who didn't join during the workshop, but you joined after the workshop. And I just included all those as well. And I want to do some deck giveaways. So you may or may not know, but we just hit 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I thought, what a perfect time to do some deck giveaways. So for those of you who follow me, you probably know that I love inspiration. If you're here from the beginning, I did a deck giveaway. So I have a couple decks that I want to give away. Do you guys want to help me give them away? All right, so let's see. Who is meant to win this one? Okay. Heather. Okay. I'm going to tape it on there. And we will mail this to you, Heather. You get your own Life Loves You deck. This is my deck. This will be yours. Okay. Drum roll. I don't have rhythm. I teach accounting. I don't have rhythm. That doesn't necessarily have to be true. That's not necessarily true. That's just a belief. Okay. So who's meant to get this one? So this is going to be the How to Love Yourself deck. Do you guys follow me here on Facebook or on Instagram? I like to do little inspirational cards. Tammy, are you still here? I think you were here. You won a deck. Okay. I'm going to stack them over here. I got one more. So this is one of my newest decks that I recently got. Well, this is a brand new one. Mine is over here. But I love this deck. And so when I was like, what do I want to give away? I was like, I love this deck. So I'm going to give this one away. This is the Crazy Sexy Love Notes by Chris Carr. So let's see who's meant to get this one. Some of you are in here more than once. So somebody could win twice. Let's see. Lori with 2 R's. This is yours. All right. So has anybody else submitted any questions? Let me know. Let me look on here. I would be so cool if some people who won were like live. That would be really awesome. I wonder, let me see. I'm trying to check on I have my little Facebook up. So I was just checking to see. Okay. So I want to do at least 2 more giveaways. I feel like Oprah a little bit, like you win and you win something, right? It's always fun. So some of you have heard me talk about QBox, which is for desktop users. And I was thinking, what else can you give away? I'm going to give away a 12-month subscription to QBox. So it's where you can install, they're basically have the cloud. You have QuickBooks on your computer, but you put the file with them, and then you can look at it on your computer, or if you have clients, they can open it up. Typically only one person works on it, but somebody else can review it at the same time. So it's just another feature. But we've had QBox here before. I did a workshop with Chris at QBox. I did a little desktop time for them last week. So let's see. Who's going to win a subscription to QBox? Julie, I hope you're a desktop user and that you've been wondering about QBox. We'll do one more. What do you think? So some of you have been asking, Susan P, you also won. I told you some of you were in here more than once. Susan is in here more than once. So she won 2 things, a private session and 12 months QBox. Okay, we gotta do one more. Somebody else got to win, right? She's not in here more than twice. Susan's like, yes, getting all kinds of cool stuff. Carolyn in. I put some with last names so that if I have more than one person, just to be sure. Carolyn, you also won a QBox subscription. Woo woo, congratulate them. He said, pick me. Have you joined Confidence with QuickBooks? Because if you did, you're in the box. We might do one more giveaway. We'll see. Maybe I'll be back on Friday. For all those of you who join, I'll give you an entry. We'll do maybe another giveaway. So some of you have been asking about like longer payment options for Confidence QuickBooks. And we are thinking about adding a 12-pay option. If that is something you're interested in, please email my team. We're going to see if that's something that makes sense to do or not. You can email us at support@candacekamfer.com, or any email I send you, you can hit reply and we'll get it. Let us know if that's something you're interested in. Let's see. Any other questions? Congratulations to all the winners, said Tammy. You're one of them. If you didn't know. I think so anyways. I'll have to look at the last name. Sometimes we have multiple people, but since I said it was you, even if it wasn't you, I'll also give you one. Because that would be weird. QuickBooks Desktop, it says it's only online. And I'm not sure what your specific question is. It's a very long question. Can only do 1 accounts payable at a time on desktop, 10 on the online. I don't recommend doing journal entries. You should not be doing journal entries to fix accounts payable. There are other better ways to fix if you put it on the wrong accounts payable. That is my opinion. So for those of you who join Confidence QuickBooks, I'm so excited. Don't forget to go to confidencequickbooks.com. For those of you in my community, I appreciate you. It is so nice to get to see you. I hope you enjoyed today's thought of the day, which was, I live in a friendly universe. Let life befriend you today, every hour, on the hour, throughout the day. Remind yourself, I live in a friendly universe. Be kind to yourself. That's the biggest thing I tell people. And that's one of the things I think that's different about Confidence QuickBooks than other training out there, which is I inspire you along the way to realize like beating yourself up isn't going to help you learn any better. So you might as well make it as fun as possible, because as you'll see on some of our people shared, like going on and trying to learn from some of the people like on YouTube or whatever, is super boring, or English isn't necessarily the first language. It's hard to learn from them. So I would recommend you go over to Confidence with QuickBooks. And if you're wondering, like, is this the right fit for you? I would tell you to scroll down and listen to some of our alumni, like what they have to say about their journey. Because I'm sorry, hold on, wait. That's my little video that I created for you guys. But they shared their, oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. I was thinking I was sharing my screen. I forget. Sometimes I don't share. Okay, so go to commonsquickbooks.com. If you scroll down here, you will hear from some of our alumni, whether you're about ready to give up on your job, whether you are a bookkeeper and you just feel like there's some skills you need to learn, or you're trying to do your husband's business. Go through, and if you're doubting that it is possible for you to learn QuickBooks, may these women and men, we have some men too, inspire you. Whether you are a tax professional, you have a CPA, you've gone through QuickBooks training, or you consider yourself not a bookkeeper, but you got thrown into that job, you can relate to Kelly. So go through all of these places and get your questions answered. If you're wondering, is Commerce QuickBooks still the right option for you after you've gone through and listened to these, we do have a chat, and you can chat with one of my team members about whether Commerce QuickBooks is the right fit for you. Have an amazing day. Thank you for trusting me. And I look forward to seeing you inside Commerce QuickBooks and around my community. Have a great day. I will see you soon. Thanks for being here. Thank you for trusting me. Toodaloo. I see a question. Okay, great. Thanks so much. Oh, you're welcome. Always thank you for your time and your generosity, said Wendy. Oh, you're welcome. Can you talk about your payroll series? What specifically do you want to know, Keith, about the payroll series? So it's how to get started processing your payroll. It's how do you set up your payroll? How do you set up your employees? How do you set up your payroll items? And then how do you enter those transactions in? That's what I talk about on the payroll. And then how to properly pay your taxes. Does that make sense? All right, you're welcome. Wendy said, what do you do if your accountant used journal entries for your accounts receivable and accounts payable? So what I did for, that gets a little bit tricky, but what I did for someone I was helping clean up is I went and looked, sorry, got blurry for a second. What I did for them is I went in and we actually cleaned up their transactions. Without seeing it, it's really hard for me to give advice because I'm a visual person. I'm struggling with filing and paying, so that's covered. It's how to file like your 941, which I still recommend mailing that one in, but like if you're in the state of California, I teach that, and you can e-file those, and then e-file your payments, and then your 940, how to do that form properly. I'm actually going to be updating the training. It still works. Everything hasn't changed that much, but I'm going to update that. And then also like W-2s, W-3s, how to print them, process them, and then how to do your 1099, 1096. So hopefully that helps you. That is the bonus for anybody who joins Confidence QuickBooks. And I will see you soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting me. If you have questions, you can also email our support@CandusCamper.com. Or if I've emailed you, you can hit reply to any of those, or go to CommonsQuickBooks.com. We'll see you there. If you have a couple days, don't wait, because time will get away from you. And if you want this year to be the year that you actually learn QuickBooks, there is a reason that you're seeing this video. There are no accidents that you chose to be here, because you want to learn. I look forward to seeing you. Have an amazing day. Thanks for trusting me. Bye.